Now in levels 2 and 3, we're going to introduce some negatives being added to our problems. The steps will remain the same though. Check to see if I can take something out of all the pieces, which in this case I cannot. Then label your A, your B, and your C. A times C is 18. That means that the top of my x is 18 and the bottom of my x is negative 11. Then we'll write out the factors of A times C. 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Those are all of the factors. If you follow along with the factoring flowchart, you'll see that the top number is positive, so I can have 2 positives, or I can have 2 negatives, and the bottom number is negative, so I want to use 2 negatives. Then we can see that there's only one pair that will add together to equal negative 11, and that's negative 2 and negative 9. Quickly double check, negative 2 times negative 9 really does multiply to be positive 18, and negative 2 plus negative 9 really does add together to be negative 11. First term will go in the first box. Our last term will go in the last box. Then negative 2x and negative 9x will make up the last of our boxes. Out of the top row, I have an x that's common, and out of the bottom row, I can take out a negative 3. The left side, I can take out a 3 and an x, and then the right side, I can take out a negative 2. So my factors are x minus 3 and 3x minus 2. For number 5, we first check to see, can I take something out of all 3 pieces? And I cannot, so I don't need the GCF. Labeling A is 5, B is negative 12, and C is 4. A times C gives me 20. So 20 will make up the top of my x, and negative 12 will make up the bottom of my x. Factors of 20, 1 and 20, 2 and 10. 3 doesn't work, but 4 and 5. The factoring flowchart indicates that we need 2 negatives. So the 2 that would work is negative 2 and negative 10. Double check that they really do multiply to be positive 20, and they really do add to be negative 12. First term will go in the first box. The last term will go in the last box. And then negative 2x and negative 10x will make up the last of my boxes. Out of the first row, what's common is x. Out of the second row, what's common is 2. The left side, what's common is 5 and x. And out of the right side, what's common is 2. Now both of these have negatives touching the outside, so I need to take out a negative out of both of them. You would know that you had made a mistake by not taking out a negative by multiplying your outsides to see if they equaled the insides. Your signs would not have matched. So 5x minus 2 and x minus 2 are my solutions. Number 9 and number 10. Check to see if I can take something out of all the pieces, and unfortunately I can't. So A is 2, B is negative 3, C is negative 9. A times C leaves me with negative 18. So negative 18 is the top, and negative 3 will make up the bottom. Factors of 18 include 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, and that's all the factors. Following your factoring flowchart, we have the sign of our top number is negative. The sign of our bottom number is also negative, so we want our larger factor to be negative. So 3 and negative 6 is the pair that works. Quickly check at least mentally to see if they multiply and that they add to be what you need them to be. Since they do, we'll put our first term in the first box, last term in the last box, and negative 6x and 3x will make up the end. Out of the top row, I can take a 2 and an x. Out of the bottom row, I can take a 3. The left side, an x, and the right side, I can take out a negative because the 6 is negative, 3. Quickly check that your outsides multiply to be the insides and write your factors. Number 10, can I take something out of all three pieces? Nope. A is 3, B is negative 4, and C is negative 15. A times C gives me negative 45. So that's the top of my x, and the bottom of my x will be negative 4. Factors of 45, 1 and 45, 3 and 15, 5 and 9. According to your factoring flowchart, both the top and the bottom numbers are negative, so we'll follow down and we want the larger factor to be negative. So negative 9 and 5 will give me the negative 4 that I need. Quickly check, at least mentally, that you get negative 45 when you multiply and you get negative 4 when you add. First term, first box. Last term, last box. And then our 5x and negative 9x. What can I take out of the top? Just an x. Out of the bottom, because the 9 is negative, we'll take a negative 3. The left side, we can take 3 and x. And then the right side, I can take 5. Everything on the outside multiplies to be the inside, so my factors are x minus 3, 3x plus 5. Flip it over to page 39. We have 2 more problems to work through. Check to see if something can come out of all the pieces, and it can't. So A times C, we need A is 4, B is 3, and C is negative 10. So negative 40 is our A times C. That's the top of our x. The bottom of our x is 3. And we have the factors of 40. 1 and 40, 2 and 20. 3 doesn't work, but 4 and 10, 5 and 8. Your factoring flowchart says that the top number is negative and the middle number is positive, so we want our larger factor to be positive. So our smaller factor will be negative. Negative 5 and 8, multiply to be our negative 40 and add to be our positive 3. First term, first box. Last term, last box. And then we'll have 8x and negative 5x. So what can I take out of the top row? I can take a 4 and an x. Out of the bottom row, I can take a negative because the 5 touching that box is negative, and a negative 5. Out of the left side, I can take just an x, and out of the right side, I can take a 2. If your outsides multiply to be your insides, then you've done this part correctly. 4x minus 5 and x plus 2 are my factors. For number 12, We first check to see, can I take something out of all the pieces? And I cannot. So our coefficients, we have A is 5, B is 21, C is negative 20. A times 5, A times C gives me negative 100. And that's my top of my x. The bottom of my x is the B value, 21. Factors of 100. We have 1 and 100, 2 and 50. 3 does not work, but 4 and 25 will work. 5 and 20. 6 doesn't work. 7 doesn't work. The next one that works is 10 and 10. According to your factoring flowchart, we have the sign of the top number is negative. The sign of the bottom number is positive. So we want our larger factor to be positive. So we'll make our smaller factor negative. Negative 4 and 25 will add to equal the 21 that we need. Quickly check, negative 4 times 25 gives me negative 100, and negative 4 plus 25 gives me the positive 21 that I need. First term, first box. Last term, last box. And then the negative 4x and the 25x will make up my other two boxes. What can I take out of the top? X. Out of the bottom, I can take a 5. The left side, I can take a 5 and an x. And then the right side, I can take a negative 4. If your outsides multiply to be the insides, you've done this part correctly. 5x minus 4 and x plus 5 are my factors.